You're about to witness a Jan Nepomniachtchi immortal played against Magnus Carlsen, no less. I mean, this has got to be his game of the year 2024. He just turned 36 years old, so we've got to take a look back at this incredible moment. It was in the World Blitz Chess Championship 2024. Game 4 of their mini match. Jan's trailing 2-1 to Magnus, must win this game to take it to extra time. What he does here is stunning. Black pieces, it's blitz chess, it's in New York, and Nepo whispers on guard in his best French accent as he plays the French defense. Highly combative. You could play a winnower if you're feeling really crazy, but Nepo goes for the classical French. Clock times are on the left there. 3 minutes each, plus they get a couple seconds per move. That's known as excrement. And now here, Magnus drops back his pony just like Nepo did. It's a huge traffic jam, but watch this. After pawn c5, you're prepared with this. The connect 4 pawn chain on the board. Magnus only goes and wins himself a lovely day out in the hot tub with his bezie, David Howell. Now we see this seahorse spring into the game. And you could bring out another knight, complete the tour de horse, but we don't see it. We don't see f4. We see pawn a3. A move played by Epicchess at the time, around this time of the game being played. Magnus also had this against Nepo and smashed him just a week before. Nepo castled kingside. Watch what Nepo does with his king. First, blasts off with an a-pawn here. Magnus, not to be outdone, develops a knight. Nepo keeps going, and then he says, I'll see your rook's pawn, I'll raise you one, I'll play pawn h4. There he goes, ploughing down the board. I mean, these moves make no sense to a beginner. Do, by the way, go and have a look at Lotus Chess. I talk about it all the time, but they just released a brand new feature called Foundations, and it's for those who are newer to chess. Want to build the house solid from the bottom up. Yes, there's a lot of viewers of this channel who are very familiar with chess, but hear me out. You might have some family members. My young kids were trying it. My wife even dabbling, playing with it. They all love it. It's a very, very intuitive way to learn how the pieces move, learn the building blocks of positional chess. Go and give it a whirl. The link is down below in the App Store. Download it. Get started for free. There's something for everyone, whatever level of chess now. Honestly, the stuff they're doing over there is incredible. Go give it a whirl. I love it. Use it most days. Knight b6 is now on the board. Eyeballing these weakened light squares. Magnus jumps over here. This is what we call a nay stack. Now knight a5. Normally a knight on the edge is a very stinky boo-boo with limited prospects, but it's looking to hop. Now we see rook b1. Anticipating this jump, we see bishop d7, the bad French bishop as they call it. Watch how that one comes to life. Such a rich game, fascinating battle. h6 is now played. We can see this is a big pivot square at times. Castles, and now queen c7. Look where that black king is off to. We see Chewbacca's favourite move, the Wookiee one. Now knight bc4. And Magnus, not to be outdone with the stinky grandmotherly moves, plays knight h5. What's it doing out there? Well, Nepo actually falls into Magnus's idea, because he should take on d4 here. You're going to see why. He plays bishop b5, nice activation, but now Magnus can take on c5. Looks counterintuitive to break the pawns, but you can't play the natural bishop takes or the g7 pawn falls with check. Uncomfortable, so queen takes instead. But now Magnus just takes the edge here. The queen's on slightly the wrong square. The bishop's undeveloped. Now this one backs up. It was pressured. Is that a bad trade for black? Maybe not. Not sure. Nepo wants to keep it anyway. Queen g4 was played in response, piling the pressure on g7, and Nepo says, go for it, bro. I'm castling queenside. Opposite sides, Andrea's spinning those beats. What an exciting game this is. What's the best move for white in this position? Amazingly, it's knight takes. If you're an engine with balls of steel. Sorry, don't know if you can say that. Family show. Metal, marble, computer balls. Now, if takes, that's not so scary. But what if you do this? Isn't that just winning? Pin and win. Well, there is bishop takes, and you're just holding on. The queen could even rotate in here. But it looks very scary in human terms to touch that pawn. Open the g file, so not played. Queen f4 from Magnus. Queen e7 from Nepo. b3, of course. Peeling open that b file like a banana. Going for the attack on the black king. I mean, this is the name of the game. When the kings are on opposite sides, every tempo counts. It's all about initiative, and especially in blitz. Bishop e3. Finally, Magnus gets all his bits out. Great etiquette. Always do it at the board. And here we go. Turn up the heat. g5. Vamos. Going for that big attack. Now, we don't see takes. Ripping open the H file, picking up tempos on the knight. Maybe you're even just losing a piece there. So this queen centralizes. A white widow spider looking to invade the black position. And Nepo, undeterred, says, go for it, Magnus. Takes on H4. What an exciting battle. This is where the French defence comes into its own. Must-win game. Pieces flying. Files open. What a knight that Magnus has got. A bastion. Stopping rook g8. Protecting the king. We see bishop g7 from Nepo. You could go for some endgame business. But of course he wants to keep it sharp. Go for the attack here. And this is what this bishop moves allows. Rook e1 was played now. Sorry, rook eb1 was played. Getting too excited over here. Nepo takes on f6. Pawn recaptures. He slides the queen to c7. Doing a bit of defense, but also looking to participate in the attack one day. How can it be generated? Imagine if I told you Magnus lost 4 moves from here. This is wild. What is the best move for white in this position? It's actually bishop f4. Really tough idea to find, but here's the big point. Black, of course, erects the big black centre, but then you invade with the queen. And after pawn takes bishop, let's ask the obvious questions. White then checks. If the bishop blocks, natural, well, b7 collapses 3 times, right? And if you block with the rook, best move. Well, then there are lines like this, and again, b7 is collapsing. Didn't really matter what you did there. If queen takes, then there's queen a8 check. King up, you win a rook here, or you crash through and win the queen. These are the themes running the position. So let's back it up here. Bishop f4, not a winning shot, because black doesn't have to go e5 and takes. You can go e5 and then b6. Okay, different story. But in the game, Magnus plays instead queen a7 immediately. I mean, of course he does. That's the blitz move. It's very hard to calculate all that wildness, right? He gets all up in the vicinity. Rook hg8 from Jan. Great counter-attack move. And now Magnus technically should go bishop f1, but he's such a strong blitz player, not only because he's incredible, but he understands initiative. Go forward, make weirdness, complications, attack. He plays bishop f4, but it gets the double question marks of doom. It is a losing move. You have to take that bishop. It's way too powerful to be left. If e5, then there's this bishop f5 check stuff and you're toast. So this was played. Now we see the rook crash through And it looks like white is completely winning, but amazingly no. And here's the point. If bishop captures, queen takes is check and mate. And with the rook sitting on the 7th, cutting the king, you're actually threatening queen a8 check, queen would have to block, and you mate. So there's problems, big problems for black. How do you escape this stuff? You can't exactly lift or anything, king can't run, queen can't get back. You know, what do you do in this position? There's only one winning move.
The only winning move.
It's the only move?
The only winning move.
It's the only move?
The only winning move.
It's the only...
This is why it's his immortal. He plays rook takes on g2, check. Incredible. Magnus takes that rook because if you sidestep, you get mated. Sidestep, get mated. Well, actually here the queen covers, but you win a bunch of material and with it the game. So you have to take. And now how do you kill the king from here? There is a winning move, but again there's only one. I'm going to first show you the moves that don't work. So what doesn't work is rook g8 check. Looks really promising, but the king actually runs away. And what to do? You can try some knight e3 check using pins, although the queen is on the square. But regardless of that, you can just run with the king. Checks run out, you start gobbling pieces. It's not a mating attack. So the rook check not working. What about d4 check? Discovered check. Looks tasty. Well, with best play, this leads to a draw, but nothing more. King f1 back, one sample line. There's a load of lines, but they're draws with best play. Not the move, not the killing shot. What is the absolutely whirlwind, swashbuckling knight e3 check. And Magnus Carlsen resigns this game because, let's go through it. Simple question first. What if the pawn eats the dinner? Then you check. Well, there's different ways actually. d4 check does mate, but let's just show the simple lines. This is a ladder checkmate kind of thing. Forces you to the H file. Wherever you go, you're getting trapped. Here's one sample. King up, and then you shut the door. So that's what happens if pawn takes. Very simple stuff. What if queen takes? Well, now we've got this theme back in the air. The discovered check. But with a pawn sitting here, it's tasty. It's game over. Block, move the king. The queen's dropping. The game soon follows. So that doesn't work. You can't touch the knight. And if you step somewhere, I don't know, h1, well, the queen just creeps in and you checkmate with the knight and queen. So I think that's it. You can't take, you can't move the king. Not sure what else to explore really. You're just dead as a dodo in every variation. Incredible game by Jan. He brought it back to 2-2. They went to extra time, endless draws for 3 games, and they decided to just have a big cuddle, share the award, first prize, trophy between them. Who knows what happened to it? Did they cut it in half? I don't know. Thanks very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this one, and have a look at the video on the screen if you want to see another incredible game from Magnus Carlsen in this very event against Hans Niemann. Wow.